views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll hear about a revision, an upcoming exhibition created by 7 women looking to help Puerto Rico through art due to the devastation of Hurricane Maria. After that, we'll jazz things up when we find out what's in store for the 2018 Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival taking place at Lehman College when we sit with director Alan Molnar. Plus, later on in the show, Bobby C will bring us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. Then we'll sit with the talented Shakimono to discuss her journey as an artist along with her exhibition, I Am Culture, being displayed at the Boogie Down Grind Cafe. And lastly, we'll check out my exclusive special interview with legendary pianist Eddie Palmieri that you don't want to miss. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way. Now we are officially open. Welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. This year is the year of women, and the midterm elections proved it. This week, a woman made her story. That's right. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 29, became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. Ayanna Pressley became Massachusetts' first Black Congresswoman. Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota will both be the first Muslim women elected to Congress. Veronica Escobar and Sylvia Garcia both became the first Latina women elected to Congress in Texas. Deb Haaland of New Mexico and Sharice Davis of Kansas became the first Native American women elected to Congress. And Jahana Hayes became the first Black Congresswoman from Connecticut. Congratulations, ladies. We rocked the vote. All right, so while we're on the topic of women, we'll say the Taller Boricua Gallery has a new exhibition entitled Revisions that features the artwork of 7 Puerto Rican women artists, now known as the 7 Women in Movement. And following Hurricane Maria, these women saw the economic struggle of the island and decided to use their gifts as artists to not only help stimulate the economy of Puerto Rico, but to use art as a healing process for the people of Puerto Rico. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome Revisions curator Taina Traverso. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yes, well, we're very excited about the exhibition coming up, and that's going to be on Friday, the 16th.
Okay, so the opening reception is going to be Friday the 16th, but I want to have a conversation about you and just all your efforts as a curator. I just want to introduce you to our audience and give them a little insight as to the advocate that you are and the activist that you are, and also what inspires you to curate in certain styles. So let's just share a little bit about a little background on your curation history.
Well, actually, my first experience, my mentor was Hiram Montserrat, and he was one of the former young lords. So El Museo del Barrio had an annex on 107th Street and 3rd Avenue. And so he was the co-director. So as a youngster, that was my first experience into this world. So he, as a mentor, gave me some skills. And from that point on, I continue and evolved.
How many years ago was that?
Yeah.
Just an estimate. Give us an estimate.
Yeah. Women privilege,
Just,
right?
all right, okay, but
Many years, I would say over 40 years.
Over 40. Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yes.
impressive. Though.
Thank you. We don't crack.
All
Yeah.
right. I like that. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
And so you continue to be this curator
Yes.
on a cultural level, on an activist level, and obviously, these women that you've actually formed a group with. How long has that been?
Well, let me say this. It was 2 years ago, prior to Hurricane Maria, and there was a young lady by the name of Minerva Gonzalez, and she invited us to her home. And she had the idea of having an exhibition with a group of women at El Taller Boricua because it's internationally renowned. So she asked me to be the curator and invited other women to be part of it. So it was just, us coming together and deciding that. But I've always been, as you know me for many years, as an activist, I was always concerned, particularly with the crisis in Puerto Rico, the economic crisis. So I introduced the idea to actually use the art as a form of impacting the thinking, the emotion, and bring attention to the crisis that was happening in Puerto Rico, because so many of our people were leaving the islands, and as they were leaving, they were also leaving land.
Right.
And so there were these crises we had to let people know, and we're talking about the Puerto Rican diaspora.
Right.
Right? Afar, wherever you may be, you need to understand that you still can contribute to making a difference. And the difference is you can actually go to Puerto Rico. You can actually go and vacation. You can buy and so on to stimulate some of the economy. Now, if you can't get there, then you can, from afar, actually where there may be some farmers who is trying to grow some food and make some money. So you buy directly from those particular farmers, right?
Right.
And then if you can't actually have the farmers bring the food to you, you're going to donate that food to someone who needs it on the island.
Right.
So there's different ways to be a contributor, making a difference. You don't have to actually be there, but you can't abandon the people in a crisis. So you have to make a difference.
And in opening up that consciousness, and thank you for sharing that, because it's important that the diaspora understand that really it's about moving the energy and in that direction, and just making sure that there's efforts being made in different areas. And we've actually been blessed to have the opportunity to share that with our viewers, because we've had various people who are doing fundraisers and or contributing either through instruments, or contributing through food, or contributing through money. But now this particular event is a group of women who have been put together to, I guess, share their visual, right, their visuals of what it is that needs to remain, I guess, present in people's thoughts of this new chapter, we're going to call it.
Okay. Well, it's important that it doesn't matter what kind of motivation or what kind of effort or what methodology you use, so long as you do the work.
Right.
And so the work that we're doing on this day is to bring people together so they can enjoy the images, but the images have messages, right? Mm-hmm. And the message is revision. So we want to see a change. We don't want to go back to the way it was, because that's what created the problem, right?
So I want to see some of those images so that we can talk about them.
Yes.
Because you have 7 artists, and I don't know if we have images from all 7 artists.
6, I'm the curator.
We have 6, and then there's you. Got it. Okay, so can we show some of those images so we can have a conversation about at least a couple of them, so that we can just, there we go. So here's what we're looking at right here. Look over here. And so, yes, and that obviously bomba is the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, okay. Well, I can take it off. We know how to do this, so I'm going to just undo myself, right? So this is actually Carmen Ayala's work, and it's a huge piece. And that may be the first piece you're going to see when you walk in. And that, when you see that, you see Puerto Rico, you see the culture. Now, the drums are very important because, drums are used as talking drums.
Right.
So it sends the message. And for those people who don't know, the drums, when they were created, it was to actually stimulate how our heart beats. So our heart's beating for our people in Puerto Rico, and we're doing it through culture and through this image you see here. In the background, there are actually the leaves of guineo, green bananas. So we want to bring attention to also the agriculture, right?
Right.
So you have to have food, and this is one way to actually be able to eat and not worry about trying to bring in and import some of the foods, right?
Right. And so and next we have.
And of course, that's our folkloric traditional dance. And there you have the bananas.
And of course the
Right, a guineo. And that's very important with the holidays that are coming up, right? With pastel and so on.
And here.
And then we have the behigante.
Oh, that's a vigigante.
Right.
Nice, beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
So you'll see it in different images. And the behigante, of course, there's another behigante. So you'll see different images of the behigante, which is important in our culture, right?
Right.
The parade and so on. So it tells a story. I don't want to give it all away.
Right.
Because you have to come to be able to experience it, right?
Okay, so that's wonderful. That was a wonderful preview of what people can expect. And so there's, again,
Oh, a
6
lot more,
artists. And
yes.
so how many images altogether?
Oh my goodness. Just in one gallery with one artist is 21 pieces.
Just one artist?
Just one artist, 21 pieces.
Wow.
So it's huge. And those who come to this particular exhibition is to have a conversation because it's going to stimulate the conversation. They're going to be educated also at the same time, but in an environment that's pleasing, artistic, right?
Yes,
And embracing.
and visually stimulating. And so, again, the opening reception is happening?
Yes, that's going to be November 16th. Starts at 6 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. There's going to be food, right? Refreshments, wine, and so forth. And of course, there's going to be me, the artist.
And who are the artists?
Also,
Let's name all the artists.
Yes, please. There's Carmen Ayala. There's Minerva Gonzalez. There's Tanya Torres. There's Yarisa Colon. There's Milna Nieves. And then there's Zaria Colon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we're actually introducing a youngster because we believe in actually sharing this information with young folks. So she's not part of the exhibition, but she's bringing her portfolio to share with those people who are there.
Well, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing that because, I mean, in general, the group of women is intergenerational. So
That's right.
It's for everyone.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the work you continue
Thank
to do,
you.
Diana,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for enlightening us. And you guys, once again, the Revision exhibition opening reception is November 16th, and that is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Taller Boricua Gallery, which is located at 1680 Lexington Avenue. The exhibition will be on display until January 9th. And for more information, visit tallerboricua.org.
Which receive a proclamation.
It's well, it's been a little over a year after Hurricane Maria struck the island of Puerto Rico, and the Somos el Futuro conference engages in service-related activities and dialogues that will highlight and help to shape priorities through civic participation and engagement in the island. Our BronxNet cameras and our very own Javier Gomez are there. Let's take a look.
Thank you, Rhina. Yes, we are at the Republic of Peru Middle School in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where participants of the Somos Conference, the Winter Conference, are taking part in one of the many, many community missions that are taking place. Basically, everyone from the borough president to Assembly Member Marcos Crespo, newly elected Assemblywoman Karine Reyes, are rolling up their sleeves and coming into communities and doing work helping communities rebuild after both Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Let's take a look. Assemblywoman, you've been to Somos many times in your multiple capacities throughout the years. This is your first time as an actual elected official. How does it feel to you to be here now as an elected official of the state of New York?
It feels almost the same, but people pay more attention to you than they did before. But I'm always the same person, and I've come here. For me, it's exciting to be here, particularly this Somos, because it's the first one that they're doing all of these service trips around the island. And I think this is one of the purposes of the conference, and we're really fulfilling that this year. So what's different is that, and I'm super excited to be here.
How do you feel about your experience here volunteering at the school at the Lima?
It's interesting because you have all these elected officials. I mean, we're here with the Speaker, Carl Hasty, we're here with the borough president, and everybody is just really getting the work done, and everybody's very focused, and we want to make sure that we get as much done as possible, very good quality work as well, and making sure people get their union breaks too.
Is it what you were expecting, returning to Puerto Rico, first time since the hurricane, and seeing what's happening?
So I was here right after the hurricane on a medical mission, and there was so much devastation on the island. We do see slowly some of the metropolitan area has come up. I would like to see what some of the outer towns look like, because some of those were the hardest hit. But it's exciting to be here to do the work. It's sad to come here to the school, which is right on the coast, and seeing how much work it needs. And it's completely full of students, and these students are kind of just doing, trying to get their school back up and running as well. And it makes you wonder what the lives of these children are going to be after missing almost a year of school.
Thank you.
It feels great because we need the help from long ago, and I'm new, and I know what it feels by other schools when you need help. Like, for example, painting, air conditioners, and more stuff like that. But I feel happy because of it, because we're getting help, and we know that we can count on people, too.
BronxNet will continue here on the ground, bringing you everything you need to know from the Somos conference in Puerto Rico. Stay tuned for more. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Javier, for the update. And for you guys, the person speaking, Assemblywoman Carines Reyes, elect. She is the new Assemblywoman who just won District 37. So I just want you guys to be aware of another woman who's in office. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out more about the annual Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival taking place at Lehman College. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. It's that time of the year again when talented young musicians come together for the Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival at Lehman College. And the event consists of performances and allows learning opportunities for musicians who are studying music in New York City schools. And this year's proceeds will be distributed to provide disaster relief for the people of Puerto Rico. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome the director of the Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival, Alan Molnar.
Hi, Rhina.
Hello and welcome back, Alan.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
I cannot believe a year has already gone by.
It goes by just like that, doesn't it?
It's unbelievable. I mean, we love having you here. And, you know, from the time that you close out the festival, do you go immediately into planning the next year?
Well, I go home and I usually fall dead asleep for several hours.
I thought you were going to say for several days.
Well, you know, thinking, well, okay, this is so much hard work. It's going to be the last time I do it. Then by about 24 hours later, I'm thinking, well, okay, who are we going to get next year? You know, and every year I tell you, this is the best festival that we've had so far. And guess what? This is going to be the best festival so far. It's really exciting.
That's lovely, though. That's lovely to have that outlook on it, right? Especially because I understand. I know what it is to put all this energy into mounting an event. And I also know what that feels like to say, you know what, I'm going to pass this over to someone else, and I'm going to delegate it to someone else, and I'm just going to let it go. And then you're so inspired by it because it's your passion, it's your life, it's your world, it's your language.
Well, we have such an incredible team that puts this all together, including all our friends here at BronxNet and the Multimedia Center, and within our music department, people who are involved at various levels of making this all work, and not to mention all the directors that work really hard developing their ensembles, and they're the stars of the show. They come in and perform and play some great music, so it's really a community event.
It is, and I know you're very passionate about it. So thank you for sharing the real deal over there. Well, how many ensembles can we expect this year?
Student ensembles during the day, I think it's at 14 or 15. And then we have ensembles coming in from as far away as Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, and for one of the evening performances. Now, Thursday evening, we're featuring the Fat Afro-Latin Jazz Cats. That's the organization that is run by Dr. Arturo O'Farrell, and his son Zach O'Farrell is an outstanding educator and leads that ensemble. They're going to be performing that night as a featured performance, and we have the Kansas State University Latin Jazz Ensemble from, as I mentioned, Manhattan, Kansas, performing as well that evening.
So how many schools are involved, and how do you decide, how do you bring, and how do they even come in? Like I also know that you have a virtual style of like Skyping. Is that concert related, or is that just through your conferencing?
Well, actually, interestingly enough, this year with the KSU ensemble coming in, they have performed with me in Hong Kong, and I think we did one in Australia when I was there, a couple things up in Canada, in Norway, in Sweden, and certainly here at the Pacheco Festival in the Bronx. And so this will be the second time, actually, that we've actually performed together with everyone in the same room in the same city at the same time. So I'll be sitting in on one piece with them on Thursday night. But that Dr. Kirk Gardner has been a real good collaborator over the last about 14 years or so with these virtual projects, and his ensembles have always been really eager to participate in these rather unusual types of performing situations. But this time it's old school, everyone in the same room playing
Everybody's
together.
going to be present, physically present. No, but
Yes.
it's lovely to have that option. It's really, and not only that, that's kind of like the world we live in. It's kind of like another dynamic and another layer added to the actual rhythm of the entire presentation.
Well, it does, and actually the performance part of it is great fun, but really what it does is it points to the great potential for video conferencing in Latin music and jazz education, and for schools to share with each other and bring in guest artists from places like New York and places far away where sometimes it's cost prohibitive to do a 1 hour performance or a workshop in a school. But with video conferencing, that breaks down the barriers. So my colleagues at KSU and certainly the students there have been great collaborators in bringing this to a front and center view in our profession.
I love when I can hear how technology is being used for that. It's it kind of makes sense, right? Because sometimes I go back and forth about just the distraction that it brings into our world. However, let's share with everyone what to expect, because I know BronxNet's going to be capturing it again, and we do live taping, and basically it's accessible to everyone throughout the day, right? So let's talk about the festival itself.
Okay, well, the festival, during the daytime, there will be a number of bands. There are middle school bands coming to perform, high school bands as well, and they're playing a mixture of Latin music and jazz for the most part, mostly traditional jazz big band types of formats. And Dr. Gartner also is our clinician for all of the bands. So after they perform for about 35 minutes plus or minus, and these are the sessions during the day from Wednesday through Friday, Kurt will be giving a short critique of each of the ensembles, just to give them some tips and ideas in terms of how they can make their music sound even better. And at this time of the year, it's a great time for that, because they're getting ready for all the concerts coming up later in the semester and then through the following semester. So we at the Pacheco Festival like to give them kind of a head start on things.
It's lovely. And I got to say, I enjoyed listening in last year, because it's just kind of like this unique treat that you have access to online that you could just listen to, and it's live.
And it was a treat to have you as a host for the Friday night performance too last year.
That was my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And thank you again, Alan Molnar, for just giving of yourself to the next generation as you do.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys, once again, the Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival is taking place November 14th through the 16th in the Studio Theater at Lehman College, which is located at 250 Bedford Park Boulevard West in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit lehman.edu/jazzfest. And don't forget, please log on to bronxnet.org for the actual jazz festival in live, right? Because we're capturing it live, and it's
Yes.
really a treat. I highly recommend it. All right, you guys, we had to take a quick break, but when we return, we will sit with transformed artist Shakimono, who went from homelessness to an oceanfront view. You don't want to miss that.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, I'm always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. All right, so our next guest has an incredible story of hope. After leaving a shelter in 2016, together with her significant other, she's been able to use her artistry to help not only herself, but others in the process. And she's hosted several independent self-expressive art workshops to inspire students to be their true self. And now she has a new exhibition entitled I Am Culture. And she's going to share more with us of what it took to go from homelessness to living oceanfront. Please welcome poet, visual artist, and hand-painted fashion designer, Shakimono.
Ashe.
Ashe to you, yes! I'm gonna twist over here
I
and
know,
just
right?
give it to you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Blessings to you, and
you.
I want to say on air, congratulations on not allowing whatever hardship you had to overcome
Yes.
get the best of you.
That's true.
Look at where you are now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, really briefly, about the first time you were here with us. And, well, because we're having you back on
Yes.
2 years later, right?
Oh, no.
No, it's more. How
It's-
long ago was that?
Oh, my God, almost 4.
4 years?
Almost
okay,
4
so
years.
4.
Yeah.
However, you're in an entirely different place.
Yes.
Sorry, I lose track of time.
That's
because
cool. I've
we
been
have a
watching
lot
you,
of
though.
People come through here, and really what inspires me the most is when we can bring you back and
Yeah.
show people that, you know, there's hope.
Well, it took the village to raise this child. And if it wasn't for your support and other people, none of this would be possible. Like, literally, we were in the worst spot in our life in the shelter. And having BronxNet as a platform to share our story and to see that there's hope gave me more hope. We were in the shelter for 3 years, and it was the hardest 3 years. And funny how everything works out. We got out of the shelter 3-day anniversary of going in. So from February to February, we were in the shelter. We're in Far Rockaway, right on the ocean. if I were in the Bronx,
Well, it's just the fact that you have an ocean view.
yeah, like y'all's like, hey. And if I was in the Bronx or Harlem, none of this artwork that I've created would have gotten done because I know everyone, and everyone knows me. So I thought I was never going to get out of that place. And art was my therapist. And the more I learned about myself and our culture, the more I painted and the more comforted I became to know that one day those doors are going to open for me, and once I go through that door, my life is going to change and poverty is going to be a thing of the past. It didn't seem like that while I was in it.
I know, but you know what? I got to tell you, you were still exercising your artistry,
Yep.
right? And that's what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you were in that situation,
Yeah.
we documented you. We
Yeah.
welcomed you. We brought you in and we
Yeah.
showcased you
Yeah.
to our viewers. And the fact that you even brought that up, and I want to say that because it was just a way of kind of encouraging you
Yeah.
to
Keep
trust.
going.
Well, to trust
Yes.
that you're going through this for a reason.
Yep. And I didn't. Now, the funny thing is, I was creating art, but we actually came to the show to do the music and
Right.
to talk about
But
our.
that's the other aspect
and that's
of
the
your
funny.
artistry because that
Yes.
you do that with your husband.
Yeah, we perform as Ashe Jam Band or Ashe. Right now, he's touring with another artist, Soundboy Cartagena.
Yes, we love Soundboy
Yes,
Cartagena.
I do too. And,
Congratulations to him on
Ashe.
that.
So they're
Nice.
getting ready to go on tour, and I figured that this is a good time for me to write new music and to really build myself up as a visual artist and fashion designer.
And I love this.
Yeah.
I love that you have it as our backdrop.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it
Stunningly beautiful.
It took me such a long time to develop and perfect my craft. Like, these are some of the first pieces that I did once I got out of the shelter. I just went crazy and invested in myself. Because of my mental illness and my physical disabilities, I do get disability, and I use it to not only sustain myself, but to build my vision. Everything is hand-painted, no duplications. I've mastered the craft, so the pieces will be waterproofed, and they will last a lot longer. I love, 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 love denim because you can upcycle denim easily. You can go to your local thrift store and buy a cool denim jacket, and I could just like change the whole scheme of it and use it definitely as a canvas.
I want to just tap into that a little bit more because I love that you upcycle.
Yeah.
Right? So upcycling, in case you guys are unaware, it's like another form of recycling.
Yeah.
Except it's when you kind of repurpose
Yeah.
something.
Right.
And so do you do that because you're, I mean, obviously you're earth conscious.
Yeah.
and we all
I
need
am
to
her
be-
daughter.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
and it really started because, okay, so like when I was in the shelter, we didn't have money to buy clothes and shoes and stuff. So people in the shelter would donate to me their old shoes. And I thought that was so bizarre. And because they were so, like some of them were old, I would feel self-conscious because I grew up in poverty.
Right.
And then, you know, it was like PTSD to the 10th degree. And my spirit was like, listen, you cannot continue on being a victim. What can you do? And it was like, well, I can't paint these shoes. So I started painting them, but I was using paint that you would use for a canvas. And so I went through the whole messy stage of it, but now it's like, it's become my job. It's become my duty, my calling. And my advice to people who's going through a hard time is to believe in yourself. Our culture, because I believe the entire African diaspora is just mirrors and reflections of each other. It was our culture that kept me sane. Because I was losing my mind because I felt so hopeless. I went to college for a year in Atlanta, yada, 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 but I was starting to feel hopeless, and they was like, listen, this is your calling. And when I look at my art, it's like, it makes me want to cry, but I take those tears and I just keep fighting for what I feel like I deserve.
I can see that
Yeah.
your ancestry is influenced, is an influence within your creativity. Because
Yes.
I can see there's indigenous over here.
Yep.
I see Africa over there. I see the Eye of Horus over there.
Yeah, all of it. The boss is from this side of Africa.
Well, 'cause, you
most
know,
definitely. As you can see, the Ankh and stuff. And that's why the exhibition is called I Am Culture. As an African American goddess, history in our country has not been so kind in teaching us who we really are. So we have to look into other people to see who they are when they're confident. Like, my Latinas are just so confident in their culture and everything. And it's like, who am I? And I think that I've truly found myself in everybody's culture. It's I am culture. I am you. You are me. We are one.
Absolutely.
And in finding myself, I was able to love myself more and appreciate who the ancestors created me to be. And
And serve.
And serve.
Yes.
It's not just to be served like, I am a millionaire. It's serve me. It's like, no, I have to take this power and remain humble and serve those who need to be served. Poverty is at an all-time high. If everybody in poverty was thrown into a category as just being a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a nobody, then there would be no Shakimono. People literally found me on the train, sharing my poetry, asking for donations so I can manifest and perfect this. And even one of the people in your studio, a few people in your studio was like, yo, I know you from the train. It's like, yeah, because the answer, Ella Gua put me on the train, was like, you have to do this. And I was like, but I've never asked anybody for anything in my life. I've always worked. And for them to humble me to that point, that's why I Am Culture is important, because Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, but mostly the Bronx gave birth to Shakimono.
Shakimono. All right. So before we go, we got to tell everybody
Yes.
where the Boogie Down Grind do you have an opening reception?
Yes. So I want to first say thank you to Majora Carter and Soma Brown and Angelica Castro, who Soma Brown and Majora Carter are the owners. Angelica does the marketing, so she reaches out to artists, and they just really handpick their artists to bring their stuff in the cafe. So the Boogie Down Grind Cafe is at 866 Hunts Point Avenue. It's 2 blocks away from the 6 train. And my exhibition is open from November 6th to December 6th. You can go during cafe hours to view the art. Everything is for sale. I have from digital prints to hand-painted stuff like bags and shoes and stuff like that, and tote bags, which are good for the environment, cut down plastic waste.
That's
My
right.
opening reception is sponsored by the Bronx Brewery. So 21 and over, you can get your little sip on. Make sure you have your ID.
All right.
And the opening reception is Saturday, November 17th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
All right.
Hope you guys come out and check me out.
Yay, Shakimono, everyone. We're so excited to have you here. You guys,
Yes.
we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, Shakimono, she's going to perform one of her poems for us. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Open. Here now to perform the Crown of Oshun. Please welcome Shakimono.
Thank you. The Crown of Oshun. From these international waters. You see, our faith, it heals anxiety. I woke up to consciousness and now I understand my calling as I howl at this moon. You know, our healing has already started, and yes, they've uncovered us all from shame, and now they guide us with their armor. So wake up, my beautiful brothers and sisters, because I am your fire. And our magical kingdom, it is divine. And your stardust, it created a positive and a profound start for energy food to always feed me what we spiritually need. For my favorite is flavorful. My body is filled with positive vibrations. So these dark auras, they can't with this electric ministry. For it requires love. Heal for real love. All day, every day in poetry. As I astro travel and launch for my soul. The seeds of love are planted. And only the people who are beautiful on the inside, we shall always flourish. And our mother, she talks to me. She's got thick, dark skin and eyes that shine like planet, unseen by the naked eyes of ignorance. And to define our synchronicity is to define the reality of a rainbow. It's time that all of our people wake up to consciousness and always show love, because we can never hold hatred in our hearts. Memories surrounded by the gentleness provided by the energies of kin. Ashe, my brothers. Ashe, my sisters. Para siempre. Now, let's let go of these negative memories and embrace today, for tomorrow has its own worries, and yesterday is gone. You have not forgotten me. You will never forget me. Only the pure at heart can set their eyes on your burning fire and flame. What more can I say? Who can run from your power? For it set me free. Away from the worries of this wicked system of things, led me beside the still waters to restore my soul with no fears, no worries, and no more doubt. I am clear, I am clean, I am confident and competent, and patience is my virtue. Ashe, the crown of fortune.
Ashe, Shakimono.
I want to autograph this book to you, Rhina, because I really believe that everything that you represent spiritually and media-wise has helped me and my husband to keep our eyes on the prize. And I'm doing everything I can to keep my emotions in check because I'm a big crybaby. I'm a Libra. Big crybaby. And I just believe in hope because if it wasn't for the village that raised the child, none of this would be possible. So I will be autographing this to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, goodness.
And I still owe you a tote bag, too.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
yeah,
I
you
do.
do. Oh, you guys. The I Am Culture exhibition with Shakimono opening reception is taking place on November 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. And that's at the Boogie Down Grind Cafe located at 866 Hunts Point Avenue in the Bronx. And please make sure to check her out on Instagram at Shakimono. All right, stay tuned because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
I love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
We begin on the NFL gridiron where the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to change my commentary from Monday morning where I said New Orleans looks like the Super Bowl champs at this point in the season. The 52-21 pounding of the Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football tied for the most points allowed in Carolina history and showed that the Steelers look ready to make their own history. Carolina last gave up 52 points on Christmas Eve in 2000 against the Oakland Raiders. Big Ben fueled the Steelers last night. Roethlisberger finished 22 of 25, passing for 328 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3. The third such game of his career. He hit every throw. The Steelers worked the no-huddle offense. Roethlisberger, a specialty, of course, for him on a short week, and the usually stout Panthers looked uneasy all night long. Pittsburgh is officially in that conversation. The Rams, the Saints, and the Steelers right now are the best teams in the NFL. The New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs are also in the mix. But if the eye test says anything, it's that the Saints and the Steelers are playing the best football right now. Of course, that's not the case here in New York, where the Jets and the Giants are dealing with a multitude of issues. We start with gangrene. Injured quarterback Sam Darnold won't start Sunday for the New York Jets, but the struggling rookie will return to the starting lineup as soon as his strained right foot is healed, Coach Todd Bowles said on Thursday. Perhaps trying to diffuse a potential controversy, Bowles said he will return to Darnold even if veteran Josh McCown, the starter Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, is playing well. I aired Monday on the show. I thought the G-men were in action on Monday Night Football to kickstart the week, but it's actually this coming Monday. The Titans defeated the Cowboys 28-14, if you were curious. I'm pretty sure, even with my mistake, that no one was probably looking for the Giants game on Monday night. Giants game in San Francisco this Monday. Eli Manning will stay under center as the team's starting quarterback. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. We hit the college gridiron where the Fordham Rams are at Holy Cross Saturday. 2 weeks left in their season, both on the road. Tune in to 90.7 FM for the radio call of Saturday's game at Holy Cross. Kickoff is at noon. Other notables include number 1 Alabama versus number 16 Mississippi State, number 2 Clemson at number 17 Boston College, number 10 Ohio State versus number 18 Michigan State, and number 21 Iowa versus Northwestern. College hoops is also back. Division III Purchase College kicks off their season tonight at home, welcoming NYU to the campus for a 7 p.m. tip. The Fordham men crushed Division III CCNY this past week in their opener. They are in Houston this weekend as the D1 opponents return to their schedule. The Fordham women's hoops team will host Wagner tonight at 7 p.m. at Rose Hill. Biggest headline of the week in college hoops, though, is the Zion Williamson story at Duke. Following their 118-84 blowout win over Kentucky, it appears Coach K might have the most talented team yet. That's a scary thought for everyone outside of Durham, North Carolina. But the Blue Devils are led by a sterling freshman cast, including Zion. More in the C-list coming up. From the NBA, Knicks head coach David Fizdale said Thursday that injured all-star Kristaps Porzingis was at the stage of light running but not sprinting in his rehab from an ACL tear. After those comments were published in media reports, Porzingis posted pictures of himself sprinting on Instagram. Of course he did. The Knicks are in Toronto Saturday. The Brooklyn Nets are in Denver tonight on the ice. Tyler Johnson broke a tie with 1:26 left, and the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the New York Islanders 4-2 on Thursday night. The Devils are in Toronto tonight. The Rangers skate in Detroit. In MLS action, NYCFC will try and come back in the second leg against Atlanta. They play Sunday night at 5:30 p.m. In the UFC, Daniel Cormier took care of Derek Lewis with relative ease in the octagon last weekend. He could be ticketed to face Brock Lesnar now in the UFC. Baseball fans and players past and present gathered at AT&T Park Thursday in San Francisco to celebrate the life of Giants Hall of Famer Willie McCovey, who died on Halloween. Scores of youngsters in the Bay Area and around the country felt the same way about the Giants Hall of Fame first baseman on Thursday. They filled those seats to say goodbye to Willie, the first baseman and left fielder who won NL Rookie of the Year in 1959, and MVP 10 years later was a .270 career hitter with 521 career home runs and 1,555 RBIs in 22 Major League seasons, 19 of them with the Giants. He also played for the Athletics and the Padres. In better baseball news, the Yanks are bringing back CC Sabathia on a one-year deal. That makes longtime veterans Sabathia and Brett Gardner, back in the fold for 2019. Meanwhile, the Mets are promoting Tim Tebow from AA to AAA this upcoming season following an all-star year at AA. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for my thoughts on that kid, Zion Williamson. I love stirring the pot on my commentaries, as you know. And although it's early in the Zion Love Fest, I think it's fair to ponder if Zion Williamson can transcend himself into the next LeBron James, the player he reminds me most of. He's getting compared to Larry Johnson and Charles Barkley, but Zion is another LeBron in the making. Williamson was a viral superstar before he stepped on campus at Duke, but he showcased in front of NBA scouts Tuesday in that blowout win over Kentucky that he is the real deal. He is still the biggest, strongest, fastest player on the court. I've seen some different comparisons, but Steve Kerr agrees with me. He's LeBron #2. The Golden State Warriors head coach set the bar high when he made an NBA comparison for the Duke Blue Devils star this week. Kerr didn't reference Williamson by name in a likely attempt to avoid running a foul with NBA rules, referring to Williamson as the one who's 285 pounds. But the inference was clear when he told reporters Wednesday the next LeBron LeBron could be making his way to the association soon. Williamson didn't disappoint in his regular season debut for Duke. He scored 28 points and collected 7 rebounds. The freshman forward overshadowed everyone else on the floor, which is saying something given the amount of talent split between Duke and Kentucky. Look out, college basketball world. Zion Williamson is for real. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. This week, we have an exclusive spotlight interview with 10-time Grammy Award-winning Eddie Palmieri. Yes, I had the distinct honor of interviewing the legendary pianist Eddie Palmieri, and what a fun time. We discussed his career and the upcoming historic Salsa Legends reunion taking place at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. Let's take a look.
You're great.
You're great. You're great.
This is the greatest interview I ever had in my life.
Today we visited Lehman Center for the Performing Arts and sat with iconic legend, 10-time Grammy winner Eddie Palmieri to discuss the historic reunion of Salsa Legends after 40 years for the upcoming concert, Mi Dia Bonito. The performing arts concert goers will experience upgrades to the venue, as this concert continues the completion of the first phase of renovations. A $15.4 million refurbishment of the center funded by the governor's office and the Bronx Borough President's office. It's expected to be completed by mid-2019. Known as one of the finest pianists for the past 60 years, Eddie Palmieri is a band leader, arranger, and composer of salsa and Latin jazz.
I don't guess I'm going to excite you or the audience. I know it.
I got that.
Like that, huh?
No, and you have every right to say so. I bow to that. Nearing the age of 82, Eddie Palmieri continues an active touring and recording schedule. He explains what motivates him and how he's able to remain so youthful. So, he shared some health tips and mind tricks with us. Here's what he had to say. You have a birthday coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my birthday, I'm going to be 32 years old.
32?
With half a century of experience behind me.
That's amazing. And
the one who told me how to do that was Chocolate Mentero. He told me that after 50, you got to start counting by one again.
Obviously, that's what keeps you young.
Well, other things.
Other things keep you young?
Yeah, eating less as you get older. Eating what really feeds the cell. Because what we eat really doesn't do anything for the cells. I've been studying that for maybe 40 years, you know. Watercress and parsley with pure garlic, you know, and olive oil, which olive oil, virgin olive oil, extra virgin, is medicinal.
He can't help himself.
Yeah, I can't. Tell you about it. That's why I was chosen for the film. But olive oil.
But this is great advice.
But olive oil is also a vein cleanser, artery cleanser, capillaries, you know. It activates the gallbladder. So it could get rid of the bile. That's what causes the stones. And the reason I'm so interested in that is because of my fear of doctors.
Eddie Palmieri, a comedian at heart, joked throughout our entire interview.
I know people that they get up and pissed off, you know, angry.
Right.
In the morning.
Uh-huh.
They're still angry in the afternoon.
Right.
Then by dinner time, you know, they're still angry. And in between, they get even more angry. Do you know how difficult that is to live that way? You know, without any sense of humor and laughing, I love to laugh, man.
Palmieri provided some insight regarding adversity throughout his music career while sharing details behind his commitment to putting his children through college.
I locked myself up in my home in Long Island for 3 years. I didn't come out.
Interesting.
Then I came out because they sold my contracts to CBS. It was a $500,000 deal. We did Lukubi Makumba Voodoo. They gave them $225,000. They gave me $50,000. I was very unhappy about that, so I bought a Boozendorfer, and they paid for it, which was another, maybe almost another $100,000, whatever. You know. Then I felt more comfortable.
Right.
But the album didn't sell. That meant I go back to the same company again that I left.
Right.
So I locked up myself in my home for 2 more years.
Interesting.
And they went bankrupt. But we suffered dearly those 5 years without work, without anything. You know, I was blacklisted. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I had problems with the government because of taxes at that time.
Right.
You know, they took me in front of a judge, and they told me when he was looking, the judge said, "I'm looking for $500,000." I said, "Oh, that $500,000 is between Uncle Sam and my children's college, school. Uncle Sam lost, Your Honor."
Nice.
You can get that on the Freedom Act. It's there with the girl typing. They couldn't believe it. And how do you make a living?
We reminisced about the young Lalo Rodriguez, who joined Palmieri's band at age 16 as the featured vocalist on Palmieri's first Grammy Award-winning album, Son of Latin Music.
I met Lalo when he was 16 years old in Puerto Rico because I went looking for a singer. In 1974, Ismael Quintana, he was a genius, this guy. So I took him there, and I told Lalo, "Canta lo que tú quieras cantar," you know. He's 16 years old. He said, "Bueno, esta es una composición que yo escribí cuando yo era más joven." I said, "Damn, you know, cántala." And he starts to sing. I don't know if you ever heard that album of the Son of Latin Music, but he sang me the ballad that's on there. It's called Deseo Salvaje, Savage Love, at 16 years old. I said, "When did you write this? When you were 12? That's how it started. And when it came out, it won the first Grammy because they didn't put us in category for 17 years. And then we won the first Grammy with that. We won another Grammy in the next year.
Turning the pages upside down, the master pianist Eddie Palmieri will continue to perform classic salsa, this time with an opening act tribute to his brother, the late Charlie Palmieri. You are going to be performing here on Saturday.
Right,
here,
Saturday,
right?
we're here.
Right, it's Eddie Palmieri and Lalo Rodriguez, and that's going to be Mi Dia Bonito.
We're going to open up with a competition called Un Dia Bonito.
Un Dia Bonito, and that's happening at Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. The phone number for tickets is 718-960-8833, and that's 8 p.m.
Don't miss it.
Why?
Because it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Of course it's
and
going to be great.
And I don't guess I'm going to excite you with my music. I know it.
For BronxNet, I'm Rhina Valentin. Oh my goodness, that had to be one of my favorite interviews of all times. All right, once again, you guys, the historic reunion of salsa legends after 40 years featuring Eddie Palmieri and Lalo Rodriguez will take place on Saturday, November 10th at 8 p.m. at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. And for tickets, be sure to visit lehmancenter.org and or call the box office at 718-960-8833. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to your viewers for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Happy Puerto Rican History Month, mi gente. And, well, this was for you, Eddie Palmieri.